Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2017 Toyota Sienna, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the CURT Class 3 trailer hitch receiver. I've seen many Sienna owners literally use their vans for pretty much anything. And this is going to be a great all-around hitch for that, really for a few different reasons. Since it is a Class 3 and a 2-inch receiver tube opening, it's going to have some pretty good weight ratings for towing, and that really common receiver tube size is going to work with just about any accessory. It's also going to be, for the most part, completely hidden. Only thing you're going to be able to see is the receiver tube. So not only does that look good, because you don't see this big cross bar here and make it real noticeable on the back of your van, but it's also going to sit up higher than those visible hitches. With the vans not riding so high off the ground, that ground clearance can become an issue. So this does have an advantage there because it sets a little higher up and gives us that extra clearance. So the hitch is going to have a reinforced collar for extra strength. In my opinion, I think it looks pretty good too. And it's also going to have the standard 5/8 size pinhole. The pen and clip does not come included, but if you need one, you can find it here at eTrailer. The safety chain openings aren't my favorite, but they are functional. They're a loop style, decent size, but they are right underneath our pinhole, so there may be a little interference when we go to use our hooks, but for the most part, shouldn't really have any issues. Even larger hooks will fit. You'll just have to be kind of conscious of your pen and clip. Now, as far as the hitch's weight capacities go, the maximum gross tongue weight rating is 525 pounds. So that's going to be the amount of weight that's pushing down on the hitch. So that's good for those 1 to 4 bike racks and many different types of cargo carriers. As far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating goes, it's going to be 3,500 pounds. That's going to be the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So that's the weight of your trailer plus anything that you might have on it. But with that being said, it's never a bad idea to check with your Sienna's owner's manual to make sure your Toyota can pull that much weight. Many times, a lot of our Sienna customers do use their vans to do quite a bit of towing, and if that's your case, I would recommend picking up some trailer wiring. That way the lights on your trailer will sync up with the lights on the back of your van, and you'll be safe and legal. Now I'm going to give you a couple of measurements, and you're going to use these to help figure out which hitch-mounted accessories to get. From the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, it's going to be about 13 inches. So chances are pretty good if you plan on doing some towing, you're going to need to get a ball mount with a rise. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, it's going to be about 4 inches. And you're going to use that measurement to help figure out that if any folding accessories you might have can be stored in the upright position without contacting the bumper. So overall, really good looking hitch. It's going to be extremely versatile and functional and should cover all those needs that you're looking to do. Now, as far as the installation goes, even though it is completely hidden, it's really not that bad. I'll show you a trick that will eliminate a lot of the work and save yourself a lot of time. Speaking of which, why don't you join me in the garage and we'll put the hitch on together. To begin our install, we're going to be working underneath the back of our Sienna. We're going to need to remove this splash guard. It's going to be held in place with multiple types of fasteners, but we're going to first work on the white pushpin style fasteners. This is what they're going to look like here, and the way we're going to get them out is take a flathead screwdriver. We're going to pry underneath the head of them. You can get it to drop down. If the whole fastener comes out like this, then we can pop the base out as well. But we're just going to use that same technique to get all of these types of fasteners removed. Then we're going to have a total of 5 10mm screws just like this along this very back edge of our bumper. So we'll go ahead and pull those out too. We're going to have 4 more fasteners that we need to undo, and this is what they're going to look like. These aren't actually going to come off of our shield, but they are going to unthread. Sometimes they can be a little finicky. For example, this one kind of just popped off. So we'll move back here to this corner to kind of give you a better example. What you can do is take a big Phillips screwdriver or even a big flathead. You're going to turn it, and sometimes you'll feel it come unthreaded. Other times you might have to kind of grab the splash shield and put a little downward pressure on it to get it to pop free. So we're going to do that for the other remaining two. And keep in mind, once these do come off, there's not going to be anything holding our splash shield on. Once we have it released, we can just set it off to the side. Now we're going to need to lower our tailpipe a little bit. That way we have a little extra room to work. If we come here, we're going to have a rubber isolator hanger. We want to spray it down with some soapy water or some penetrating oil, make it a little easier. We're just going to take a pry bar or a big screwdriver. If you don't have a pry bar, it can work sometimes. And just pry that hanger off of the exhaust. That way it'll drop down a little bit and give us a little extra room. Now what we're going to do is come to our frame rail, and we're going to have some little stickers as well as a rubber plug that we're going to need to remove. Because underneath those stickers, we're going to have some factory weld nuts that we're going to use as attachment points. I want to mention too, anything we do to one side of our van from this point on, we're also going to do to the other side because it'll be set up the same way. These stickers are pretty straightforward. Take a little flathead screwdriver or a razor knife, something like that, and just work them off. Rubber plug will be this one. Pretty much same deal. We'll just kind of pry underneath it and kind of pop it out. Now, even though these weld nuts were covered up with stickers, it's never a bad idea to take a tube brush and a little bit of penetrating oil, spray these down, and just clean out any potential dirt or debris that may have gotten inside. Now at this point, we are going to deviate from the instructions a little bit. They want us to actually remove our whole bumper to give us room, but I found in the past that that is not necessary if we do this one easy step. If you look right here, we're going to have this little tab, one on each side, and if we bend that down out of the way, it'll give us enough room to get our hitch up where it needs to go. So you can kind of just very carefully, kind of just use your hands. I kind of like to put my fingers on the top portion just to kind of help hold it in place. And just kind of bend that out of the way. We're going to do that to each one. Now with an extra set of hands, we can raise our hitch into position. So on the passenger side, you're going to want to make sure to kind of go up and over the exhaust. And what we're going to do is kind of pull our bumper back a little bit, and we're trying to get these tabs on the bottom side of our hitch. We can raise it up against our frame rail. And our three attachment points here, here, and here, we're going to take a bolt and place on a conical tooth washer. Make sure the teeth on the washer face up towards the hitch. And we just want to get at least one started hand tight on each side. That way the hitch will support itself while we work on the rest of the bolts. Now that we have all of our hardware in place, we can go ahead and snug it all down. Now we can grab a torque wrench and tighten everything down to the amount specified in the instructions. Now that the hitch is up in place, we can close our tabs. So we'll just use our hands and bend them back up. Then we can raise our exhaust back into position. So kind of just bend our hanger out of the way until our metal portion pops in. Then we can just slide it back on. At this point, you got a couple of choices of what you can do. You can leave your underbody panel off if you want to. That's what our customer has chosen at this point. Or you can trim it. So there is a diagram in the instructions, and I just kind of drew that out for you to give you an idea on where you would trim. And just kind of give you a better picture. If you just kind of roughly hold it up in place, you could kind of see where the hitch is going to interfere. So if we cut that piece out, we'd be able to slide it back up and re-secure it with the same fasteners the opposite way that we removed it. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2017 Toyota Sienna.